Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Henry from Bex Asia, organized by RX Singapore. Thank you for taking the time to attend the last masterclass of 2023. We're excited to have today's masterclass presented by Hubble Build on the topic of building for the future, innovations in construction management with Hubble. With us today, Ms. Lin Cheng, product manager at Hubble Build, responsible for managing the development and delivery of products to meet customer needs and market demands. As the first Singaporean in CPG China, she established a new practice and led her design team as principal architect, also playing a key role in global business development. Lin holds a master's degree in architecture and was recognized as the valedictorian for the class of 2016 at the National University of Singapore and awarded the Lim Chong Kiat Prize. Before we start the session, once more housekeeping announcement. Should you have any questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen within the Zoom platform. We shall take these questions at the end of the masterclass. If I can invite Lin to turn on her camera and microphone now, and whenever you're ready, I'll leave it to you to start the presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Henry. Let me just share my screen. All right, hello everyone. Thank you for taking time out on Wednesday afternoon to join us for this conversation. I'm very excited to share with you all what Hubble has, and also along the theme of building for the future, some of the new things that we have in store to show to the industry. So once again, my name is Lin, and let me introduce exactly who we are and a little bit about Hubble Build. So Hubble, some of you all may know us. We are a construction management platform, and we have a presence in all these countries in Southeast Asia. So we are mainly HQ'd in Singapore, and of course, we have offices in all these different countries. So a little bit about Hubble's history. So this year is our 7th birthday. Happy birthday to us. And starting in 2016 until now, you've seen we have tided through the construction industry, through the pandemic, and through all these various ups and downs. So in this year, Hubble will be delving a little bit into the AI sector. And of course, we have received our ISO 27001. This is for data security and internet security. So right now, who exactly is using Hubble? So all these names on the screen are partners with us, and we've been trusted by them over the years since 2016. So we're very lucky that industry leaders have decided to work with Hubble and trust our product. So everyone on this call, more or less, is from the construction industry. So you guys definitely know the challenges that our industry faces. So a few things about Asia. Of course, you know, we see all these articles out there that says that the industry is in dire straits. Then we see, despite the fact being in dire straits, we have all these major, large infrastructure projects. We have big capital projects. As you may see, Indonesia has a new capital. China wants to build more high-speed rail, things like that. So are we really an industry in dire straits? But at the same time, we see there's a rising construction tender price index. So we think to ourselves, wow, okay, we're earning a lot more money, but things like labor costs or even the cost of supplies gets a lot more expensive. So how can Hubble help you to make your whole process more cost efficient and generally smoother to maximize your investments? So here I've listed a few of the challenges and some of the opportunities we have to improve. So over here, we basically have the main steps within the construction industry: design, fabrication, construction, etc. So you all might be familiar that things like document management can be very manual. Then on site, when you want to keep a roster of your workers, this is all very hard copy and can be very, very tedious. And sometimes the quality management is very disorganized, information is everywhere, all the different platforms. So how can we improve upon this? Right now, the whole Hubble platform, we are a complete suite of products, and we go across 3 key phases. That would be design, fabrication, and construction. So what you see here are 7 of Hubble's different systems, and I'll be going through a couple of them today. So why I have chosen to bring up the IDD, or integrated digital delivery, for this presentation. So I understand that we have some of our audience members, not necessarily from Singapore. So this is very like, for example, if I'm Hong Kong, you may understand this as the DWSS, the Digital Supervision System, Digital Work Supervision System, sorry. And even our counterparts in Malaysia, you might see this as the CITP, the Construction Industry Transformation Program. So all these different areas are how digital delivery can be integrated into your workflow and into your workforce. So for IDT, we look at digital design, fabrication, construction, and lastly, can we consider a handover, which is asset delivery and management. So how can Hubble help you? So right now, what we have done is we mapped it to BCA and also to HDB use cases, BCA being the Building Construction Authority and HDB, of course, being Singapore's largest public developer. So now we're looking at design and basic things like RFI, digital RFI can be mapped across to Hubble's HDMS system, which I'll be speaking about in greater length. And of course, for fabrication, digital logistics, this can be quite a hassle when you have things that are manufactured off-site. So we have digital production, logistics, which all are covered under HVAC, also one of our topics for today. And lastly, during construction, this is something that when I was an architect, very close to my heart, as you see the men on site. Of course, safety is utmost, the most important thing on a construction site. And Hubble covers this in our workforce module in terms of managing your manpower, of course, within safety and quality to ensure that the contractors can always deliver, and of course, to deliver with the utmost safety standards in mind. Okay, so before I start on the Hubble document management system, I'd like to conduct a short poll. So this poll, I'm very curious. So everyone in the industry, or maybe people not in the industry, when there are RFAs, so what is the typical approval timeframe for you guys? So right now, my colleague has put up the poll on the screen. So give you a little bit of time to fill in your thoughts and maybe what you guys have experienced. Okay, maybe a couple seconds more. I see all the answers flooding in. I feel that RFAs are something that's very close to our heart. But sometimes, because of the stakeholders on site, RFAs take a little bit of time. All right. So before I go into the results of the poll, so this regarding the document management system, or we call HDMS. So this question everyone might see. So developers will ask on site, hey everyone, how's the project progressing? So this is a question that strikes fear into everyone's hearts. So this is when the main project manager will try and pull out an Excel sheet that shows, okay, RFA tracking, document tracking, but this is not always the most updated. Then developer goes, okay, never mind. So do not start work on site until RFAs are approved, okay, until documents are approved. So who exactly is holding on to the hard copy? Where has it been circulated to? We look at each other. Where are the drawings? Is it the architect? Is it CNS? Who is the drawing? So this is a very typical scenario that we might see on site. So how does HDMS hope to combat all these issues? So for HDMS, this is our system overview. You'll see in the 5 blue boxes, we have our one dashboard. So this is a dashboard with AI predictions, and then we have our 4 modules. So these 2 modules, RFI and RFA, I'm sure everyone is familiar with. Then we have this new module that you'll see, document library. What exactly is that? And then followed by document library, we have the approved documents. So document library, think about it as Hubble's own Dropbox or Hubble's own shared drive in the cloud. And then for approved documents, this is the point of truth and a reference for everyone in the project. How? Let me show you. Okay, so this is the document library module. And what you're seeing right here is a still from our product. So in the overview, there is a checklist, and this checklist is akin to the master drawing list or master document list that is prepared and maintained by the project manager. So over here, you're able to track by disciplines, document type, etc. Very typical, you guys will definitely understand it. But what you see here in the bubble, document match, this seems a little bit unique. How exactly is this related to the Dropbox concept that I mentioned earlier? So the checklist is a reference to everyone, but how am I going to match a document? So this is where in the second tab, you see Hubble Documents. This is our Hubble Cloud Storage. So when you're ready to have a drawing approved for RFA, upload it here. And if you name it the right way and put it into the accurate folders, the corresponding folders, then you'll see that there is a checklist match. So then the bosses of the project directors, or even the clients, they don't necessarily need to delve so deep into all these documents. They can just go to the front page, which is the checklist, and see exactly what's going on. They have a very clear overview. All right, so for the results of our poll about the RFA approval time, can you guys all see this on screen? Okay, so the most common result is that RFA will take about 2 weeks. It will take about 2 weeks to be approved. Then we also do see some people have this verbal agreement on site. So sometimes verbal agreements on site is a little bit, I would say a little bit scary, because we never know and we must always follow up with documentation, just as good practice. So how can RFA on HDMS help you with that? So these are some of the statistics over here, as you will see, that our digital RFA approval time is just 4.5 days. And because all parties are informed at the same time and all the information is more or less complete. And of course, one of the bigger things is that there's a reduction in paper usage. So there no longer is like this A1 or this A0 that's floating around. So we definitely would recommend switching to a digital RFA approval in order to create a more sustainable, environmentally friendly worksite. So all that talk about RFA. So exactly how can Hubble help you with RFA? So what we have throughout the entire Hubble platform is that we offer customizable and a very tailored workflow process. So right now in HDMS, this exists both to the RFI and RFA. So this is customizable. Over here, under the progress log, for purposes of this demonstration, we have just created 3 steps, very simple steps, which is to submit, to review, and also to close. So very much, we can definitely configure it to your unique needs. For example, if the review needs to be done in parallel between the consultants or consultants first, followed by the client's representative, definitely all this can be fitted into the Hubble system. So this creates workflows that suits your clients and your company. So, of course, the transition between the actual physical A1 drawing and the digital world will be a little bit difficult sometimes. I do understand that. So that's why we have created the intuitive annotation. So this takes your sketches and comments online seamlessly. So what you'll see is one of the screen caps. So in this screen cap, my colleague has drawn this very irregular shape. You can draw freehand. You can choose to draw your details on Hubble's platform, and then of course add all your comments as discussed. Please change this, please change that, get rid of that. So markup and comment just as you are used to on a physical document. We wanted to be able to replicate this the experience so that there is no sort of like fear, depending on the consultants or even different sort of like technological understandings. And the last part of HDMS is the approved documents. So you may ask me, Lynn, isn't this exactly the same as what you showed earlier in the Hubble document cloud? This is a little bit different because after RFA has been approved, we save a copy of those approved documents into the approved documents module. And with this, through another feature that Hubble has, which is the linked items, you see in this case here, you can easily link across all your Hubble systems. So this exists on the whole platform. You keep everybody updated and on the same page. So remember, we are safeguarding a source of truth so that everyone is equally informed, be it the consultant, your RE, RTO, everyone down to the site supervisor, to ensure everyone's using the most updated drawings, the most updated documents. So we talked a lot about bringing the construction industry into the future. And of course, AI right now is a buzzword that we all hear out there. ChatGPT is fantastic. People can use generative AI for art. But how exactly is AI going to help our industry? So I invite my colleague to start a poll just to check in with you guys. So which area of construction do you think will benefit the most from AI tech? So is it on a project management front, on safety management, defects, quality, maybe none of the above? Maybe you guys think that we're good the way we are. So definitely we're trying to incorporate these elements to take the industry into the future, move us forward. Okay, so let's give a couple more seconds for the poll. So please do join us. So right now I can see the results and I see no one has put none of the above. So I'm quite heartened to know that we all think that we need to give ourselves that extra edge. So let me show you how Hubble is trying to incorporate AI. So we're still on HDMS and you can see this is the dashboard for the request for approval for RFA. So apart from the statistics, every Hubble system will have a customizable dashboard. So it shows you your tasks, total number, breakdown by status, by discipline. We're also trying to incorporate a little bit of prediction. So to help you better to plan your project management. So over here, we have predicted days delay due to regular RFA. We split between regular and critical being on the critical path. And also we want to help you in your planning because there's so many documents that pass through site. So we have this trend of planned versus actual approved RFA, so you can better forecast and better foresee if you are on track. So that was the AI features on HDMS. So moving on from just the AI features on HDMS, I want to talk a little bit about one of Hubble's newer products, which is the integrated AI camera for enhanced workplace safety and health. So at this point, could we reveal the results of the poll? So looking at this, if you guys can all see together with me, see that project efficiency is something that you guys value, followed by safety management. So for project efficiency, we hope to be able to cover it in HDMS. And then for safety management, this is a nice segue for me into our next segment, which is on the AI camera. Okay, so what you're seeing here right now is Hubble's AI camera system. So how exactly does it work? All of us in industry, we know that there will be existing cameras on site. Sometimes it's monitoring the periphery, sometimes it's mounted onto a crane. So you already have existing cameras on site. And now what Hubble comes into is to integrate our platform and to integrate our algorithm into your existing setup. So how does this help? This helps by sending real-time alerts so that if there's any breach of safety, as you see over here, takes a photo, it shows you the camera location, the violation, of course, the time that this thing happens. And from this, you can create an incident report, a safety report, things like that. But more importantly, and I can't say more importantly, but at the same time, it offers data analytics. So it's not just a camera that takes many, many photos at once or takes a video. It helps you to analyze and understand what's going on. So now we're looking at these 8 use cases of how exactly can we apply the Hubble AI camera. So the Hubble AI camera, it will be used for a myriad of things. You can see under IoT, we have the facial recognition detection. So this is when guys come on site, then you can see, okay, they're checking in, checking out. So at the same time, you can also see in terms of PPE monitoring. So are all your workers wearing the high visibility vest? Are you wearing the helmet? And of course, are they wearing their safety harness? These things right now require very manual supervision. Your RE, RTO to be like, hey, wear your PPE. So this one, it informs you of any violation, the guys forget to wear it. Then I would say that on the construction side, the bottom 4 is something that we are very concerned in terms of safety because we had many unfortunate accidents in the past couple of years in construction. So what our cameras can do is that we can detect any intrusion within zones that there should not be people, as you see over here. And of course, if any workers that are working too close to large-scale machinery, this, as we know, is extremely dangerous. And of course, sometimes they are standard within, as in they are seated or standing within a lifted loading zone. So this will tell us, ask them to get out of this dangerous zone. Then the last case you see, this is, of course, is a very high building. And you can see there is no actual railing. This is sort of like the construction barrier more than a railing itself. So this monitors the workers who are working near an open edge to ensure that they don't go to any of the non-access zones. So all this with the help of AI can help to create a safer, better construction and workplace for everybody. So this camera has really, as in this, the software has already been deployed at a few areas. You see the Certis Cisco redevelopment and also at some of the LTA projects like the Cross Island Line. So we're trying to integrate more and more for the safety and health. And alongside, we have our IoT devices. So this one is a thermal scanner with facial recognition. So the AI camera, as I mentioned. And lastly is the Bluetooth tracking. This one was very helpful during the pandemic for safe distancing enforcement. Okay, so I go into our third system. So that was moving on from the documentation, then we talked a little bit about AI, and now let's talk about fabrication. How exactly are we going to get all these precast components onto site? And how exactly are we going to create them? So let's have a little poll right here. So when it comes to precast prefab, we're always told that this is so cost saving, this is going to be the way modular construction is the future. I mean, the future is really here. Everyone is really using it. So sometimes we do struggle to control costs in the prefab process because a lot of this, especially in Singapore, it is not manufactured on site. It's not manufactured on site. We don't have eyes on it all the time. The consultants won't be able to see it all the time. The main project managers don't always get to see what's happening. So, we're very much dependent on information that comes from overseas to us sometimes. All right, so I see that everybody says that the major point of concern is all of the above. Storage, equipment, wastage, logistics, everything is a big concern when it comes to the prefabrication process. Oh my goodness, guys. That's quite a bit. But with this, the Hubble Fabrication Management System, or let's call it HFAB, easier for me to say. So for that, as we see that all those things were a big concern. So definitely on site, you get questions like, okay, why hasn't the component reached site? Where exactly is it? So sometimes you are unable to fully track the component from start to end. Then when it reaches site, it's this large concrete thing that comes in, so many of them come in at once, especially if you're doing like prefabricated housing. It's very tedious. There's so much paperwork that accompanies this component. Sometimes we do lose track. Then with that, we will have to translate the on-site work to a digital record. So this can be very tedious and very tiring. So the hope of actually trying to cut costs, cut paper, save the environment, maybe we don't actually achieve that. So for Hubble, for our Hubble Fabrication Management System, HFAB, we cover from the very beginning, from the production of that component all the way to the installation. So as you can see, we have one dashboard that provides a nice holistic overview. Then we have the component directory. And of course, we have the records. This is all that pesky paperwork. So looking at it, where are we involved? So this is the whole process of material management. So after consultants do the design, everything has been nicely checked out and approved on HDMS. Now we can go into fabrication. We are fabricating it offsite, maybe in a neighboring country. So when it has been made in this neighboring country, we'll be able to stick these QR codes that Hubble that we can download it from Hubble's platform. Then through this QR code is the life of that component. So through shipping and receiving of the elements, users can use their mobile phone to scan and to update the status of this element. Has it been delivered? Has it been installed? Has it been fully inspected? So we cover the whole lifespan of that one component. So what you can see here is what I mentioned earlier. So over here, different components, I go on site, I scan it, then I can update its status that has been delivered. So this is updating the status, and when over here, and I see it's green. So this is all on the go, very, very nifty and very handy for people on site. But also, not forgetting people on site, there are also people who are monitoring the work from the office. So we have a list view of all the components, which helps to identify and track the component progress at a glance. But of course, many of you will say, Lynn, in the construction industry, we don't like to see lists. We like to see something that is very, very manageable, very understandable. We don't have this time. So for HFAB, under the component directory, we also have a wall chart. So what you guys are looking at right now, in fact, are all different components. So this is the components all for that one level. So you can see at a glance the different statuses of the different colors. So you can see from level 1 to 3, everything has been installed nicely. Of course, it's been inspected. So this definitely helps us to visualize the statuses of the fabrication components. And also earlier I mentioned that Hubble systems all come with a dashboard. So this dashboard helps us to see all the installation and production progress at a glance. So we're not isolated to either one. We can see all at the same time. And then it helps to analyze certain trends. Maybe people are particularly productive right before lunch, after lunch. So this is when we'll help you to analyze. And of course, we want to inject this element of planned versus actual installation to see how far off we have fallen the mark. Like right here, you may see this green line is not boding too well for this project. Okay, so project references, we've used it at large scale housing, and at the same time, we've used it for Marine Center too. There we go. Okay. So now, previously we talked about HFAB. Now we have come to the point where it's handover. Everyone is heaving a sigh of relief. The project is at an end. We can hand over nicely, we can do our claims. This is the best part of the project. Or is it? So for all the audience members who are at the main con or the subcon side, this is where the consultants ask you, how are the defects? Where can I see rectifications? And then we'll trace through numerous emails, numerous WhatsApp groups. We're like, oh my goodness, where is everything? So when I was still a consultant, I liked this final repository of all the completed rectifications. Extremely tiring to trace through what I needed to know. And of course, at the same time, I would think that on the developer side, you would like to be able to understand where we went wrong in construction. Was it a particular component group that maybe the supply choice wasn't that great, or the mode of construction we chose maybe not so fantastic because there are a lot of defects coming from a certain part of the building. So the handover system, I call it HAND, so hope you guys don't get confused. Handover system on Hubble. We have a couple of things, of course, the dashboard. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but definitely a dashboard and customizable throughout the whole Hubble system. Then we have locker inspection. So this locker inspection alongside appointment booking, this will be particularly useful if you are doing sort of things that have different units. Maybe it could be a commercial project, could be a residential project, a condo, so that you can lock up the unit and hand it over to whoever is going to own it or whoever is going to rent it. Then, of course, we have our favorite DLP management, very straightforward understanding between the contractors and the consultants as we work on site. Okay, so for the local inspection module, you may see this wall chart and be like, this looks a lot like HVAC. Okay, imagine that this is a building section. This is a building section. These are all your different units. So you have 1104, 1105, 1106, and the different statuses in terms of the lockup process, in terms of handing the keys over to the different individuals. So useful for condominiums, useful for commercial projects. Then of course, for DLP, this is where we work together, the consultants and the contractors work together on site, and on the mobile phone, they can take photos and then they can pin on the floor plan exactly where this defect is. So you will see over here that I only have like a 3-step process, but once again, Hubble has customizable forms and customizable checklists that we can configure per your company standards. So this is something that we've done for numerous clients, and so far everyone's been happy. All right, and residential appointment booking is something that is very useful if you're maybe like a condo, like an MCST, and sometimes like your residents say, hey, there's a leak in the corridor, whatever it is, they can book an appointment with you, and then you can like go and check the rectification, get the contractor, get facilities management to go and fix it up. So over here, there's a unique QR, flexible slots, and of course the calendar view. Okay, so right now on Hubble, there were some key features that I think you guys kept hearing me say over and over again. And these are not unique, of course, to the systems that I mentioned, but this is available throughout our platform. So what exactly are they? So this one, like what I mentioned in HEMS for RFI, RFA, and even for DLP, this is a dynamic workflow coupled together with customizable forms that we can help you to configure at the moment so that it is catered to your unique requirements and to, of course, your client's unique requirements. Then, of course, the idea of a dashboard. So right here, what you see is that the dashboard can be configured. So you don't need us for that. You can, configure to exactly what you need, the data points, and set the filters. And of course, there is the GPS tracking that enables the real-time location tracking of your workers, equipment, etc. So another thing that is very relevant to construction site is this offline mode that allows you to work seamlessly even if the app is offline, because we know on site sometimes the internet connection is not the best. So sometimes I'm trying to send out a workflow and it doesn't go, but I can send it first, and when I walk to the MRT station, it automatically sends out for itself. That is our offline mode. Of course, we have linked workflows that is very useful for approved documents to be able to be linked to different systems. Very helpful in terms of maintaining a source of truth. And in terms of work, we group our assignees together, and it's a flexible assignment system. So lastly, for reporting, we're able to generate customized reports for you. And of course, you'll be able to make more informed decisions to keep your project on track. All right, so we have come to the point of presentation where it is the Q&A.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Lynn, for a very detailed and insightful presentation there. I hope our audience got some very valuable takeaways from what you presented, and hopefully there's some opportunities for further discussions and exploration on how Hubble can help our audience with their different needs. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, you can put in your questions to Lynn live in the session via the Q&A box. We do have one that's already fed through, so we'll start you off with that, Lynn. So we have one of our guests has asked, can you integrate with other systems such as OA?
Okay, so my first question to this audience member, OA is exactly which software? Is it like maybe give me some clarification on that side so I can understand. So right now, in terms of integrating other systems generally, we are trying to explore the option of integrating our dashboard with other people's systems. So we have tried to play around with some of the larger, say, industry giants, calling the APIs, etc. So this is something that we are going to keep in the pipeline, but no promises just yet.
Okay. No further information on what OA stands for exactly. But he has mentioned that API is okay. So perhaps your answer has already addressed that.
Right. Yeah. So we are trying to explore. And of course, if Hubble is trying, when we have any of these, improvements, we'll definitely put it out for the market to know. Can we sell in China? Yes, definitely. There is no barrier to us selling our product in China. I mean, I worked in China for the past couple of years. But of course, we would love to have this opportunity. So perhaps I would say, Mr. Wu Xiansheng, is it possible if you reach out to us, Mandarin version? For localizations, we try our best, but we'd like to hear from you a little bit more. So perhaps, Mr. Wu, could you reach out to us? And we would love to work together with you.
I think that's a great idea. Obviously, some interest there and a few questions which hopefully the Hubble team can address with our guest there directly. Another question that's just come through live: can Hubble generate project earn value?
Okay, hi Michael. I'm guessing when you say project earn value, are you talking about like the profit margins, or are you talking more on like a payment system? Just for some clarity. So while Michael is maybe clarifying himself, I just want to talk about another one of our systems, which is Hubble Pay. For the HPay system, we actually we do BIM quantity takeoff so that we can do all the payments better, payment claims a bit better, or plan versus actual. All right, okay, thanks, Michael. So at the moment for Hubble Pay, which is our payment system, so this is like progress claims, final account, things like that. We do not do a plan versus actual at the moment, but for example, at the start of the project, if you're using Hubble Pay, we will have the total contract value. And of course, we can add in any sort of variations, so that changes the project. So we have the very first value, and at the end, when you close final account, we have the final value. So I guess that in a way is planned versus actual, but not in a comparison table. Yeah, maybe you've been hoping for a comparison table or maybe a comparison dashboard regarding pricing, but we don't actually have that at the moment. But I think that's a fantastic area for consideration, as this large infrastructure projects over 5-6 years. You spend so much time. You want to know exactly. So I mean, thank you for the suggestion. Unfortunately, if you're looking more for progress claim, I would love to speak to you about that, but not so much on we aren't really looking at the time versus cost at the moment.
Okay, well, great to see some very specific questions. There's obviously some very poignant needs that our audience have here. So hopefully that's also food for the Hubble development team on things that they can look at in the future as well.
Definitely taking notes.
Great stuff. So plenty of time, so please do continue to send those questions in. We did have a large wealth of questions that came through in our pre-registrants ahead of the session. So let's revert over to those, and perhaps Lynn, you can share some further insights on those. So the first question was, can the Hubble document management system integrate with BIM to support design for manufacturing and assembly implementation?
Yes, so we saw quite a few BIM questions coming in. So for Hubble, I mean, today I only shared a couple systems. I shared 3-4 systems. But of course, within the Hubble documentation system, HDMS, we have a BIM manager. So right now, our BIM manager is more a viewer than anything else. So you are able to select each component, you can view, imagine, and this is without the aid of, using Revit or any kind of like BIM software. So for this question, when the audience member asked, can it support DFMEA's implementation? So we have in the pipeline to sort of combine the BIM manager together with Hubble fabrication. So this will provide for more holistic understanding, but you can see the 3D blocks come up bit by bit. So maybe stay tuned for that. So that is with regards to BIM. But I mean, right now, just maybe you guys can put into the Q&A also. I just want to hear from you all about the use of BIM and the uptake. and how you guys are using it to sort of maybe do quantity takeoffs, and how you guys are using it for, for almost like in terms of like the QS role, how the QSs out there use it.
Great, thank you, Lynn. So yes, if you do have some very specific questions or points relating to BIM, please do use this opportunity whilst we're on the topic. I think that's a great chance. Just another question that's come through live. For project teams which use Hubble, is the whole project team required to purchase Hubble licenses, or only the contractor needs to purchase licenses while other members of the team can use it for free?
So I love all these cost questions. So I would love to say, like, can I direct you to my sales team? But just between you and me, Joel, so the person who asked the question, right now, we do it on a project basis. But of course, we do understand that there are needs coming from subcontractors who perhaps want to use it a little bit more. So we would love to have you maybe reach out to us, and we'll try to get back to you when it comes to terms of like understanding the costing, understanding how much this whole system may set you back for the entire construction process. But right now we are still on a project basis.
Great stuff. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Obviously, there's a great scope and flexibility depending on your needs. So if you do have any cost-related questions, please do drop them in the box. Perhaps they would be better addressed to the sales team at Hubble, and they can answer your questions directly and give you a personalized answer on how they can support you there. So moving back to our pre-sent questions then, how does Hubble integrate workers from different regional backgrounds who perform the same job and reconcile differences in remuneration?
Okay, so when we got the question, I thought it was quite interesting as the workers who perform the same job. So maybe just a small reminder, we're not exactly a payroll software. We don't really deal directly with the workers' payments. But what we do, I think we offer a very good workforce management system. So we create the profiles for different workers. So these people come from all over the world. And of course, we have all the main contractors who put in all the relevant information. So this will include their FIN registration number, work visa, etc., things like that. Of course, the trade role that they perform. So we right now allow the linking of our workforce system, which is where all the worker profiles are, linking of the workforce system to any sort of like payroll software. So this one will be the export of that file, upload it into payroll software so that you will be able to pay the workers for the overtime or for whichever work that they have carried out. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving on, are there any tools or technologies within Hubble that can assist construction management in addressing ESG compliance?
So for this question, I'm very heartened that other practitioners in the industry are concerned with concerned environment, of course, with sustainability. So earlier for HVAC, this whole system arose, apart from the need to trace and the need to also understand where all the different components are. We also hope that helps to reduce wastage, because with better communication, that would mean that you only produce what is necessary in terms for the whole construction process. And at the same time, under Hubble Safety, we have this thing called the environmental audit. So for the environmental audit, this will help you to sort of keep track of the amount of concrete you've used by creating a report, and you can add it to an environmental audit. So right now, what we have is very much catered to the Singaporean market, but we will definitely be happy to reach out to our Malaysian, Indonesian, anywhere in the world, any of our counterparts, to help to configure it to your country's unique ESG compliance requirements. So that was Hubble Safety Environmental Audit.
Superb. That's great to hear. So just a reminder for our live audience, if you do have questions very specific to your needs about the particular service delivery or ways that Hubble's technology and what you've seen can potentially help you, let's use Lynn's expertise whilst we have the opportunity to extract from that, and we'll welcome to provide what information we can. Looking at some of the questions that came in before again, can the Hubble platform facilitate quantity takeoff from BIM?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love BIM questions, because when I was practicing as an architect, BIM was a big pain point, but at the same time, it was so helpful. So I do see people come in asking BIM clash questions. People come in asking oh, can I edit BIM? So sorry to disappoint you guys, but I need to tell you that we do not edit the BIM model itself, but we can facilitate the QTO, the quantity takeoff. And this is in the system that I mentioned earlier, Hubble Pay. So for Hubble Pay, we take your BIM model, you upload it, and then we read each individual component, sorry, my tongue, each individual component, and then you can see, for example, you use this particular concrete slab with whichever kind of rebar ratio, whatever it is, and you say that, okay, you've used like maybe 1,000 square meters of it. So this helps in the QTO. But of course, I need to add in a caveat, because I use to build BIM models. Your BIM modeler has to be a good BIM modeler in order for us to do an accurate QTO. So it's a bit of, give or take, and it's a bit of like a partnership between the party who's building the BIM model, and Hubble will definitely take every single thing, because based on the IFC classes, we'll read it and take it off so you can see the accurate quantities. So everyone get good BIM modelers. They're very, very important.
Well, hopefully we've got a great selection of them out there. I'm sure that we have, so that will make your lives easier, hopefully. So moving forward then, from a slightly different perspective, does Hubble offer any solutions to enhance project management expertise?
Yes, so earlier when we did the AI poll, and in terms of where our audience members find most important that we have AI, it's within the project management sphere. So, I was an architect, so I had some very, very good project managers, and these people are, I would say, as good as an AI. Fantastic. The AI's got to learn from them, right? So right now in the Hubble, in 7 of our systems, we don't have anything particularly catered to the project management crowd, but in terms of our customizable dashboard, so you see each dashboard helps the project manager or helps whoever's doing project management to understand the workflows better, to understand what's going on site a little bit better. But to be very specific to project management right now, we are in the pipeline, we are building something that I think is very, very helpful to project managers in terms of timelining, in terms of understanding. And this one will have another slight a very slight AI slant to it. So maybe you guys can check in back on us in maybe Q4 of 2023. And I'm sure my marketing team will do a fantastic job when it comes to letting everybody in this audience know when our project management system is up.
Excellent news. Yes, Ruben from our audience has also added, I'm not sure if this is a statement or a question, but perhaps you can elaborate a bit further for us, Lynn. Worker wearable AI devices, a key value to project management. Anything that you'd like to add with that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I do love it when the audience, puts in their very, very key sort of comments. So worker wearable AI devices, at the moment, Hubble, we do not provide that, but on site, we do have that Bluetooth device, the infrared device, so that encourages sort of like safe distancing, things like that. And of course, we have, when you go on the site, you do the facial recognition and the scan to ensure that this is the right person and on the right site. But sometimes main contractors have so many workers, right? So yeah, this is something that I think we can look into, the worker wearable AI device. But yeah, it seems like a very interesting proposition, and definitely Hubble, we're taking notes.
Sounds like your project development team are going to be very busy after this session with lots of new ideas to bring into the portfolio in the future. So all great stuff. Please do keep those questions coming. As I said, whilst we're on the session live, we do have a couple of questions that we highlighted before the session. So we've got time. We'll look into those as well. The next question was, how convenient is it for users to access data from different Hubble systems across the platform?
Okay, so for Hubble, we follow what BCA calls the Common Data Environment, the CDE. So right now, if you were to purchase, let's just say, you purchase our safety, you purchase all the modules under our safety system. So of course, all users will be able to see every single module. And what we do is that we have a user differentiation. So sometimes we differentiate between the project manager versus like the workers on site. So we do have that differentiation, but people will definitely, all users will be able to see what is relevant to them. So whichever data you do not want subcon A to see between subcon A and B, definitely we have that partitioning. But if you are the project manager and the overall system administrator, you will be able to see everything. So it's very convenient. And earlier, what you may have seen in my mocks, or what you have seen in my screen caps, is that our navigation bar is on the left-hand side, and you'll be able to toggle between all the systems and all the modules that your company has purchased.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Lynn. So yes, still time to answer, sorry, to put through your live questions. We just have one final one from the pre-selected list that we thought could be very interesting. And I know we've already touched upon the topic of AI, so we're going back to it. I think that's a term we're not going to hear the end of, maybe in our lifetimes and beyond. So Lynn, what is the project benchmark value that justifies the investment in adopting AI-related technologies, such as AI camera integration?
Yes, so it was very timely because for the Hubble AI camera, it was very timely sort of like, let's say, news from BCA that starting June 2024, I think June, or is it May? Correct me if I'm wrong. At June 2024, all construction sites above 5 million Sing dollars will be required to install a surveillance camera. This is on the safety front to ensure that all the workers have a safe environment to work in, and then whoever's monitoring will be able to intervene if anything is happening. So that would be the baseline, the surveillance camera. And I guess that the amount that BCA has put to it is $5 million on the regulatory front. So we do hope that people will start to adopt this camera integration as a surveillance as a baseline. But of course, what Hubble we offer is something a little bit higher than the baseline, which is the AI camera. And this AI camera eliminates the need to have someone 24/7 on the surveillance camera watching, almost that man in the room, right? To watch any of that, to watch the video, or maybe even to look through the stills. First, we want to be able to use technology to stop any sort of like safety violations wherever we can immediately. Because a person behind the camera is, sometimes it's a look, may not be paying most attention to all the cameras on site. Whereas if each camera was intelligent and each camera was able to stop incidents right there, then we do recommend and we do hope that for the protection of life and the workers on site, there will be this adoption. Of course, there is the baseline, which is the surveillance camera, and then there is the Hubble AI camera, which is a little bit higher than the baseline. So I guess $5 million, if that's the answer. BCA said it, not me. $5 million.
You heard it here first, or second, perhaps, depending on who said it. Great stuff. So yes, perhaps just give everyone 30 more seconds to see if there's any more live questions coming through. If you saw our screen go dark just then, we just moved into a new office with a motion censored lighting. So at least we can say from BEX Asia HQ, we are an energy efficient company and office building here.
All right, great job, guys.
We knew that was going to happen at some point. We weren't sure if it would happen before or after this session, but there we go. Excellent. So I don't really seem to see any more questions coming through. I think that's testament to an amazing presentation that you delivered, Lynn. So thank you very much for all the time and preparation that you and your team put together to create the session and to work with us to present some very insightful findings and ideas on how Hubble can help the industry. With that in mind, if there's no further questions, I think we can wrap it up there. So please pass my thanks on to Lynn again. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. For our audience, thank you for joining us as well. This is the last of our masterclasses, so we hope that you've enjoyed these sessions. Also, don't forget to join us in person at the BEX Asia exhibition, which will be happening from the 6th to 8th of September at Marina Bay Sands Expo and Convention Center. And do keep posted on all of BEX Asia's social media channels to find out all the show updates. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a pleasant rest of the day, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.